What is up, guys? Welcome to this new video. In this video we'll be going over the patch notes of the 3rd of December 2025, which brings a new Sub-Zero Zone season. And honestly, the addition of snowfall in the zone might be the least interesting change in these patch notes, because we have some pretty big changes to existing mechanics like Gamma Data Frags, Signal Dungeons, and more. So stay tuned for that, and without further ado, let's dive right into it. As per usual, the patch notes start off with a little description. The crackling of a Geiger counter is replaced by the crackling of frost on the gas mask lenses. The zone is changing more rapidly and not everyone can keep up with its rhythm. The latest changes awaiting us are Sub-Zero Zone Season, economy adjustments, signal dungeons, fixes to the bars, operations adjustments, and other changes. So, first of all, the Sub-Zero Zone Season, winter weather. Overnight, the zone was covered in snow, the paths disappeared under a white blanket, rusty fences turned into ghosts, and familiar places suddenly became unfamiliar. You will see the following changes in the game. Added new season effects, updated old winter weather phenomena, changed the brightness of winter nights, and updated the textures for snow and snow-covered trees. The textures look a lot nicer in my opinion, they fit in a lot more. Also, you'll now be able to use your MVG without being blinded, so that's great as well. And they added like little wind twirls and that kind of stuff to add to the ambience overall, so I do like that. Then, season rewards. The following key rewards are available this season. The Cobra 2-tone pistol, the M249 saw machine gun, the expedition suit, some special case tokens, the frostproof skin, blood on the snow charm, Act 2 tickets, the snow trail container with armor and weapon paints, the Nord charm, frozen carabiner charm, and the Sub-Zero Zone customization set with profile designs. In the season crates currently, you will be able to get parts for the AA-12, the Hector exoskeleton, and the Antares, which has been added to them, as opposed to the last winter season. At level 500, we have the Marten Exoarmor, which is a combo suit. I don't know, it reminds me kind of I guess, something in between a Raps and a Scythian. It gives plus 25% stamina, plus 3% movement speed, and plus 32 carry weight with 196 bullet resistance. It's on the higher end of bullet resistances for combo suits, and it has about the same resistances as most combo suits tend to have. So overall, pretty good pick if you don't have a proper master tier combo suit yet. And obviously, I'm also very excited to see what kind of skin they'll make for it. I do think the design overall now is pretty decent. Not necessarily my favorite, but it's okay. I do, for example, really like the visor being kind of see-through. Then the special case. Updated the contents for the special case, new unique rewards like the Ganymede jumpsuit and the CRAW 6 container have been added. The Ganymede looks interesting, but the CRAW 6 looks particularly interesting in my opinion, so I'm excited to see if I can get one. But yeah, you know, it's cases, so I don't think it's gonna be easy, so we'll see how it works out in practice. Then, season styles. Welcome winter with new skins. Transform your weapons and armor with the following new items. The Orca style for the Mule and the Ace suits, the Frozen Steel style for the Chris Vector, the 0 Point style for the Glock 18X, which will probably get introduced later again in the Christmas tree crates, but that hasn't been announced so far, so we'll have to wait a little bit for that. Then the Notch style for the Tactical Katana. Then the Sub-Zero Zone Starter Pack. Start the new season not from scratch, but with a starter pack. Here's what's inside. 10 season pass levels, 7 days of premium, and 2 unique blood on the ice paints for armors and weapons. So pretty much a standard starter pack we get at the start of every season. Then a big one, economy adjustments. This is one we already got a heads up for, but it still stinks nonetheless. Change in the cost of fragments and data blocks. Fragments and data blocks have become a significant part of a player's income, which has disrupted the original concept and purpose of these resources. As a result, we have decided to reduce the sale price of these resources in rubles and reallocate the revenue to other activities like daily tasks, weekly tasks, and delivery contracts. Yeah, I mean, we knew this was coming, but I still feel kind of, I don't know how I feel about this. I didn't even really farm these for money, but still, I know a lot of people do, and they shifted most of the rewards to activities that are time gated, because daily, weekly, and delivery contracts are all time gated activities which you can only do a finite number out a week, And this is kind of the problem where I think a lot of the people that were grinding it like this were a lot of very high tier end game players who just didn't have anything else to do anymore. Like, there's a big lack of end game content, and by shifting these things to time gated means you take away even more of the things that these people late game can do that is actually like meaningful in the game. So I do think it just negates the question of a bigger problem that a lot of people have been asking for quite a number of months. So I do hope we get a lot of new endgame content soon, because I know a lot of people are not going to be happy with this. I'm not too happy with it either, even though it doesn't even affect me that much, because I'm not really farming like that. But still, I get the frustration of the lack of endgame content, and repeatedly more of it, that the few things you had to do being taken away. Alpha data frags have gotten their value reduced from 290 to 80, beta data frags from 600 to 90, and gamma data and lambda data frags from 900 to 100. Then alpha data blocks from 42,000 to 8,000, beta data blocks from 60,000 to 9,000, gamma data blocks from 90,000 to 10,000, and the same for lambda data blocks. At the same time, Expo is increasing the number of rewards with resources for sale from activities where fragments and data blocks drop. On average, the reward for resources for sale has been increased by 33%. Now, it would be, maybe you get like more random like junk items you can sell. There's just more stuff you need to carry, so it's also increased weight. So sure, the actual value of it is bigger, but that doesn't mean you can bring all of it, or it's worth bringing all of it. You know, it's still a nerf to the rewards. Talking about controversial changes, the next one will also be one of these, I think. Changing crafting gear for blueprints. Now, when crafting gear from blueprints found in season crates, you'll need to barter resources and rubles. This, I really don't know how I feel about this. So previously, you just needed to get the golden one, the red one, the purple one, and the blue one, and then you just got it, you know, for the things from season crates. Now you also need a bunch of barter resources from the north, and even 1.4 million rubles, it seems like. Previously, players could obtain master gear too early in their progression according to Expo, which could cause them to end up on servers with a higher matchmaking level. Now, before collecting gear from blueprints, you will need to obtain the necessary barter resources from the north, for example, completing the corresponding progression stage, which means completing the corresponding progression stage. This change also preserves the need to collect barter items without devaluing the need for progression in the game. I don't know, I get the argument of people not being put in way too high servers, because that's definitely annoying as a newbie just joining the game, and you might not be aware that it's gonna do that, right? But I do think this is a completely unnecessary execution to get to that goal, because they talk about the devaluing the need for progression. Bro, like, getting these cases and getting the right drops from them, that's already a grind in and of itself, especially since you get so little cases now. You know, like, it's not like you don't have to grind to get these cases, you know what I mean? Sure, there's a couple people who get pretty lucky on their first couple of cases and already get a thing, but that's a minority, you know? So I don't know, I don't think that argument holds up. And on top of that, the argument of people getting too early and causing them to end up on the wrong matchmaking servers or too high. You know what, the very easier and more effective change would be, like, if someone that is in a way lower matchmaking bracket would get to that point and craft something that would put them way higher in matchmaking, display a warning which clearly explains why and how it works. You know, like, imagine that would be way more efficient. Then people can choose, like, okay, then I won't wear it out in the open world, I'll just leave it for when I'm in the north or something like that, right? But no, like, instead you just nerf it for everybody. I don't know, I don't think that's the best way to approach this. I think just a clear warning would be fine to keep people from wearing it outside, or even if they then do, then at least they know what they're gonna face, you know? Then new rewards for daily and weekly tasks. Updated rewards from contract provider at the bases of the northern factions. So daily tasks now give 25,000 rubles, which is essentially more than double what they used to give. And then weekly tasks now give 80,000 rubles instead of 40,700. At other bases, rewards for tasks have been increased by 50%. Then, changed delivery contracts. Now every player in the faction will have deliveries to the same locations, allowing players to cooperate to complete contracts together. In total, excluding deliveries to Stillwaters, there are also 6 contracts available. 2 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy, 1 medium for premium, and 1 heavy for premium. This is also one of the things where the resources got reallocated to, so there's an increase in rewards for these as well. This is one of the things where the rewards got reallocated to from the Gamma Data Frag, so there's an increase in rewards. As you can see right now on the screen, you can get up to 150 or 149,000 for a heavy backpack delivery, and more barter resources than before. This all sounds really good, but they have drastically increased the distance and difficulty of the medium and heavy backpack types. So yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Due to the increased difficulty of medium and difficult deliveries, we have increased the number of tasks performed for successful deliveries in the north. So for your battle pass tasks, you now get 1 task completed for light backpacks, 2 for medium, and 3 for heavy. And here is an example of what the new distances look like from an example point of Covenants. So as you can see, the red one is heavy backpacks, the yellow one is medium backpacks, and the green one is light backpacks. Yeah, you just have to run across half the north. Well, no, actually you just have to run across the north, essentially, to do a heavy delivery. That I don't know if that's worth it for 149,000. Maybe if you have like a whole group of people, it's gonna be worth it, but I don't think I'll be doing that now. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's still pretty tedious as a task. I'm not sure. We'll have to see in practice. There might be some people doing it. I don't think I will. That's just too much time, and also kind of boring because now it's just even more of a walking simulator. So I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily a good change, but hey, let me know how you feel about it down below. Then signal dungeons. When searching for signals, you may encounter a new mechanic, signal dungeons. What is it? This is a small challenge that must be completed in order to receive a reward. It uses locations that are already present in the game. For example, you may meet Master of the Zone or Twins again. This one throws me off because like it sounds like you're gonna have to battle them again, which I for sure hope is not the case because that would be horrifying just to get signal rewards. It's kind of weird. I'm hoping it's just more of like it's the same location, but we'll see. So, reaching the location. To reach the signal location, you must find the signal that will lead you to a special bubble. As soon as a player enters, they are teleported to a random signal location. There are 6 bubble types. Each bubble differs by difficulty of challenge and reward for completion. Each type of bubble has its own color. White for level 1, green for level 2, blue for level 3, purple for level 4, red for level 5, and yellow for level 6. So the location structure. When entering the location, you can use a special box that provides a set of rounds and first aid kits. There's also a bubble at the beginning of the location where you can leave the challenge. After completing the challenge, a bubble appears next to the reward box, which also allows you to leave the location. Exiting through the bubble returns the player to the point where they entered the location. If a player dies, they are sent to the last safe zone. So it'll be a little bit of a question on how to get your stuff back then, but we'll find out about that in game. Then the rewards for this. As a reward for completing the challenge, the player receives a standard signal reward. The higher the bubble's difficulty, the more valuable the reward. In addition to the standard reward, players can receive blueprints for new weapons. These blueprints can only drop after completing challenges led by red bubbles or higher, and blueprints can be sold to the fence for rubles. Don't know how much, but I don't know if that's going to be worth it either. So yeah, imagine having to do like a whole challenge just to get that. Like sure, it's not the worst, but it's also not great. I don't know. I feel like hunting signals has just gotten more tedious now because of this. However, the cool thing is these blueprints do add 2 new weapons, the DSA RPD, but you do need 20 of these blueprints to craft it. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. And then the AEK 965, which is a shotgun that uses a new ammo type, I think. For as far as I know, this is a new ammo type. First one in a long time that got introduced into the game. The 23x75 ammo type. And this one's a weird one because it has 400 damage at +0 and 190 units of guaranteed damage at range from 11 to 85 meters. So I guess it kind of doubles as a bolt action shotgun. However, it does have a vertical recoil of 15 degrees. But its spread is really little. It's only 0.35. So I'm confused by this. I'm gonna be so real. I'm so confused by this weapon, and it kind of looks broken, but I'm not sure about it. So we'll see when people have it in game. If you get it in game, maybe you're super fast in grinding these things. Let me know down below, because I'm very curious to this weapon on how it performs in practice. So what's next for signals? This minor update does not mark the end of our work on signals. In the future, you can expect an expansion of the pool of signal locations and requirements for entering them, forming closer links between signals, caches, and safes. I don't know if I like the sound of that. I don't want to do a whole puzzle parkour thing or whatever they're having planned in those bubbles for a safe, for example. That would be kind of annoying. And they're gonna rework the visual component of the WRD and forming their progression. Then fixes to the bar. They've added additional entrances from the street to dorms and back, and they added the area with the chroma key again, so we have a green screen again in the bar. Then operations adjustments. Fixed incorrect description of the Berserk skill, updated visual effects for the Storm boss, fixed the bug where shots fired before the first entry into the lift were counted in the accuracy statistics, added an enhancement icon when using the Death Deception ability by the Assault, updated the icon for the Storm boss battery ability, added a stun indicator for the Storm boss, fixed incorrect behavior of the Thermos and Finisher modules when shooting at training targets, fixed bugs with the display of weak points and point capture progress in operations. Something other interesting to know that wasn't mentioned necessarily in the patch notes but was mentioned in a different post is that the black market is back literally right now at the start of the season. So if you missed out last week at the end of the previous season on the black market auction, it's just here, it's back. Don't worry about it. You can still bid on some cool stuff if you have the funds to, obviously. We got some skins being sold and also the PTRDM making its comeback. Then some other changes. The Arsenal art motif is now available for all Arsenal weapons by default except for the Arsenal rune. Some characteristics that were redundant are no longer displayed for grenade launchers. These characteristics are now displayed in a separate block and depend on the grenade charged. They've updated the display of charged rounds and grenade launcher grenades in the interface. Now it shows the type of ammunition for basic variants and an abbreviated name for special ones. They've updated the character selection screen and music as per usual with the new season. And they've updated the MacPool RVG and the FX PTKB FAB defense modules. That was it for these patch notes. It was an interesting one in my opinion. I didn't expect so many additions or like changes to existing features. Let me know what you think of all these changes down below. If you want to stay up to date with all the Stalcraft news like this and enjoy watching some Stalcraft gameplay or quest guides, don't forget to subscribe so you'll be the first to know when I upload these on my channel. I upload at least once a week. If you want to watch some more Stalcraft content right now, you can click here on the left for some gameplay content, or you can click here on the right for a video that YouTube thinks you will like. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the zone, stalkers.